Welcome back to Cyber Sea of Galilee DSMME on this Tuesday, July 6th. This is a day very dear to many of our hearts because it is the feast of a virgin martyr. Why do we have the lilies here? Because they represent virginity. So many times you'll see a picture or a statue of St. Joseph and he is carrying a lily. And that always means that this person kept the sexual powers totally for God's use alone. So whether it was consecrated chastity or virginity, or they made a vow in their own hearts, or they decided that they wanted to give this gift to God. Our saint today actually is a double saint in the sense of she's a virgin and she's a martyr, and that is Saint Maria Goretti. And when I visited her place where she was killed for the faith down in southern part of Italy, it's very powerful. It's kind of an area of wine growing, and we just call it the area of the maiden because I always think of Maria Goretti, and her house still exists there, and you can go visit it, and there's a little thing in the floor that says on this spot Maria Goretti was stabbed numerous times by Alexandro, who was obviously just trying to rape her. She was a very young, very beautiful girl. Her father had died when she was younger. She came from a relatively nice sized family, so her mother really needed to depend on her, and she had the mother had to hire out for work to actually be able to keep the farm going in these wet bogs and in these wetlands basically, and so things had a difficult time growing. So the family became more and more poor, especially after the death of her father. But the children were raised with such deep faith. Maria Goretti was the oldest daughter, and she kind of became like a second mother to the younger children. And so she would be inside the house while Alexandro, the son of the gentleman who came to work the farm for Maria Goretti's mother and family, was actually in there one day, and he had been tempted against purity by looking at pornography. And so the temptation led ultimately to his trying to violate the chastity of Maria Goretti, who at that point resisted completely, saying, Alexandro, God does not want this. God does not want this. What ended up happening is when Maria Goretti did die, Alexandra was put into prison, and he finally confessed to the crime and the pornography had been found in his room and all these things, and just kind of the progression psychologically that a person who resists God's grace. And so he had to be in prison for a while, but he had a dream of Maria Goretti with lilies in her hand, and she said, Alexandra, I will help save you, just will it. That dream so startled him that he had a complete change. When he eventually got out of prison, he went back to this little house to visit Maria Goretti's mother, who was still alive at that point in time. And so he went back to visit her, and then he entered a community where he gave his life to God, a religious community for the rest of his life as well. So it's what we hope and believe and think, that he too is in heaven, and both of them are today celebrating their feast day. One, a major conversion of a sinner, the other, a beautiful, a chaste virgin, and a very young girl who gave her life for Christ. So on this beautiful feast day, let us remember the beautiful virtue of purity and pray for a renewal of this virtue in our country, certainly, and really in all the world. God bless you.